what we'll be talking about, I'm looking down because I'm referring to the notes that I'm going to share with you guys. Um, so for those of you who have been following Solopreneur Code for the past 1.5 months, we are we are a third of the way uh, done for Solopreneur for the first digital dollar project. So for those of you who are new here, I launched a first digital dollar project back in January. So the purpose is I bring together 20 solopreneurs to share their learning, share their journey from zero to their first digital dollar online. So just a disclaimer again, first digital dollar doesn't mean it's crypto. It's really more of digital product or services that solopreneurs has offered, and then um, and in the journey, my focus is really to um, share about the journey, the decision making, the the considerations, the struggles of all these 20 solopreneurs as they went on to get to earn their first digital dollar, and then and also why is it important in my personal opinion is that everybody out there is talking about the people earning how they get their 10K per month, 20K per month, but a lot of people fail to um, fail to really talk about how they earn their first digital dollar, right? So I think that portion is really missing, and I believe that uh, we had to spend a bit of time talking about this because, um, like it or not, the first digital dollar is the one that actually changes a lot in terms of the mindset. Um, because the moments before you earn your first digital dollar, you still have that slightest sense of uh, this 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 belief. All right, you will ask yourself, does it am I is what I'm doing correct? Am I on the right path, or should I be doing this? So there are tons and tons of question mark, right? But then the moment you earn your first digital dollar, you realize that um suddenly everything becomes achievable, right? So I think this is something that a lot of people are not sharing online, right? Partly because uh, a lot of people are they are more they believe that sharing the 10K is more important, right? So I want to bring that down, and I want to so which is why I started this project back in January. So this project, first digital dollar project, will last from January to June, and throughout this entire period, every week I'll share one contributor. Right. So as of now, I completed 6 contributors already. All right, and they are Taylin, Orel, Timo, Yana. Most of you know Yana, Khadija, and Sharif. Right. So the purpose of this live today is, and since we are a third of the way through, I decided that it's very appropriate for me to share with you the extract from these 6 contributors, and then also to update you as we go along for and what will happen throughout the entire project. Right. So I'll keep it really short. It will not take more than 30 minutes. And then I have all my learnings here. Right. So I'll just share with you. And then of course, within the 24 hours, the post will be sent out to you guys. And then you can relook at this recording, or you can just view the transcript from there. All right. So there are 6 key lessons that we gathered throughout throughout these 6 contributors. So each contributor has one post and one live. All right. So for those of you who follow me throughout this journey until now, you know that the post is on Tuesday, right? And then the live is usually on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, right? Depending on the availability of the contributor and myself as well, right? So the 6 key learnings are so the first one is ready is a myth, all right? So Every contributor launch uh, with a question mark, right? Even for myself, when we launch a product, I can guarantee you most of the time we have no idea whether it work or not, right? Yes, the more we do it, right, the more we launch, um, the better it gets, right? And of course, the more followers, the more subscribers we have, um, we sort of, and the more we engage with our audience, probably we are able to um, have a better idea of whether something works or not. But I can tell you, if you are if you are new to this and you have never launched a product, the first time you launch it, and if you're feeling that you have zero idea whether it will work or not, don't worry, you are not alone, right? So uh, this is very common among all the contributors. Really is really a myth. Even Yana in herself, in one of the posts, you can check back all the first digital dollar posts in my Substack, right? She said her first sale is full of panic, right? So what she said is when she got her first sale, which is a paid subscription, she panicked. She didn't celebrate. She panicked, right? Why she panicked is because she when if I can recall correctly is when she saw the paid subscription, she was like, oh, now I need to deliver, right? So now she has to deliver. Right? So this is the life was very interesting. So go back and refer to that. Right. And then the second learning is solve your own problem first. All right. So I believe it to be very true, right? Because in when we create digital product, if you read some of my posts, I always emphasize the need for validation, right? Truth be told, validation will not come to you automatically because you have to go around ask a lot of people, right? But then if you are solving your own problem, then it is validated, right? And Sharif in his post said that his $700 product, which he earned within 24 hours, was a roadmap built for his own use, right? So he shared this in his post under the first digital dollar project. You can check it out in my Substack. All right, and then Orel's as says too. Uh, for those of you who know Orel, he is the creator of RightStack, right? And he is actually a tool that he wish existed, right? So I think your best product idea is probably sitting in your own uh, workflow, right? So for those of you who have difficulty identifying to what to create, what to uh, ideate from, I would say the best way or one of the best way is to really start with your own problem, right? So go through your entire day, which workflow, which step is actually the creates the most trouble for you, and then try to solve it. All right. Long gone are the days whereby you say I don't know how to do. Now you can just ask your favorite AI tool, tell them the problem, ask the AI tool to give you a set of solutions, propose solutions, and from there you expand. How do I create this solution? How do I sell this solution? Right. So focus on solving your own problem. If you do not have anything to sell and you are already really thinking of how you can launch your first tool. All right. The third point is proof is one of the most important key element in your digital product journey. Right. So Taylin um, invested 5K in coaching. Right. In his post and in the live with him, basically he say he has no money. Right. So that's one point. Right. So um, and then and go on from there. He was saying that how I think I remember when I asked him how do you get proof and how do you step up into the game of service, because tailing is all about uh, copywriting, and he mentioned write for free, right? So write for free, find someone online, DM them, write to them and tell them you write for them for free. I mean, that's specifically for copywriting, right? So if you want the best, you want proof to be fast, the best way is really to for tailoring for services you can offer it for free. What we do when I deal with digital products, so when I before I launch a digital product, what I'll do is I will always open up beta testings, right? So I invite some close friends that I know online. Specifically, my advice for getting people to beta test is to DM them directly, um, and then focus on finding people who whose words meant something, right? And also focus on getting people who are actually uh, your target audience, right? I give you an example. For me, some of my key digital products are Notion templates. I design Notion systems and stuff like that. And for me, definitely, I'll look for uh, established Notion users, right? Rather than uh, when we talk about validation, beta testing, most of you, what you will think immediately is, oh, I just post on X, post on Substack, Notes, post anywhere, and say, I'm looking for beta testers. If you are interested, please DM me, PM me, whatever, right? I would say that will usually not be very useful at the um, at the later stage, because most of the time you get lurkers, you get people who will ghost you. Um, I mean, most of the time, right? So the best way is really to specifically ID 10 or 20 people who you know, who who are your target audience, and then tell them that you have this beta, you're opening up beta testing for this particular tool, and these are the functionalities. Do it like you're selling a product, right? And then ask them if they're interested um to test out. And then of course, most of the people online, we know that the moment I say yes to a beta testing, the next thing I need to do is I provide feedback, I provide changes, recommendations, and then end of the day, it is it is very important for me as a beta tester to provide you with some form of testimony, right? So, um, so when this is done, it has to come with a flow, right? Be very mindful that you have to control this. That's why I say initially, when we talk about beta testers and testimonies, I really advise you to stick to below 20, right? No point asking for 100 of them and then 90% of you them ghosted you, nobody replies you, right? It's not going to help you at all. Okay, so the third learning is really proof, right? Proof builds up your digital product and the whole entire experience. So very important for you to gather testimonies as proof, right? The the fourth key learning is pick one lane, right? Uh, so okay, before I continue, I noticed about 100 just joined while I'm saying. So I think is what we are doing here is I'm sharing. We are a third of the way through the first digital product journey, right? So there will be a total of 20 solopreneurs, all the way from January to June, right? So if you're following this project, we are at one third of the way. I've interviewed six contributors already, right? So the purpose of this live is really a tiny little report and some of the key learnings that I gathered from the six contributors. The six contributors are Taylin, right? Orel, right? The creator of Right Stack, Timo, Yana, Khadija, and Sharif, right? So I was done. I'm done with three learning. So we have three more. Let me continue. The fourth one is pick one lane, right? But change strategy. But you try if you need to change any strategy, um, try to change within that lane, right? A lot of times when we you must have seen this every other day, right? People say be consistent, stick to what you're doing, right? Um, in some of the Substack Live interview with the contributors, I focus on one point. I always ask them if they know when do you think you need to switch lane, right? Because it's a very thin line between being consistent and sticking to it, and eventually finding the need to switch, right? Um, I have no answer to that seriously, but I think it is more important to stay in the lane and be consistent with it rather than change lane. Right? There is no perfect answer, but deep inside, you will definitely know when you need to change. Okay, but before you feel the need, you what you need to do is stick to your idea, right? So we have heard online people say, "Oh, drop shipping will work." There are people who say, "Oh, do copywriting will work." Right? So my answer to that is yes, all of that options will work, right? They will definitely work if you stick to it. So that's the most important thing. It's not about choosing with drop shipping or choosing digital product or choosing Notion template or choosing online courses. It's not about that. It's about sticking to what you've chosen, right? So that's the key thing, right? So in one of the example, my interview with Orel, he said he spent 18 months jumping around ideas, right? So if you haven't read Orel's post or check out his live with me, you do check it out as well. He spent 18 months switching around, jumping around ideas, right? And then in the interview, I remember he said he just within 1 month, if there's no traction, he switched the idea, right? And then later on, when he realized that what he should have done is stick to the idea, it's also very interesting. So what you see, Orel has been doing well with his right stack, right? So you all thought that, oh, because you chose the right idea. No, it's not. It's not because he chose the right idea. It's because he stick to the idea, right? Because in the interview, I asked him, if your if you pick any of the ideas before right stack, right? I asked Orel, and if you believe that you stick to it, do you think it work? And he said yes, right? So he specifically say yes because so it's not how good the idea is, how wonderful the idea is, or the or know what strategies you use. It's really about sticking to that idea, right? Sticking to idea, sticking to that link, right? Khadija, before she ironed down on her niche, she has been writing blogs, all sorts of blogs, right? She write about uh she write about comic as well, right? So it's very interesting. She write about a lot of other things before she settled on storytelling. So if you are keen to find out more, you should check out the post and the live with her, right? Um, yeah. So the lane must be consistent, right? I agree. Along the way, when you're in that lane, you need to switch the vehicle. You need to change direction. Go ahead, right? If you realize that there's a better way to achieve this outcome that you have been dreaming of, go ahead. But then to switch entirely to another lane, I really don't think you should do it until you really, really feel that there's a need, right? Again, I do not know. I can't tell definite, definitively what is that moment you need to switch lane, but I truly believe that you will know. But before you feel the urge, don't switch. Just stick to it. You will eventually work out, right? And then the fifth lesson is the less you focus on selling, the more you sell. All right. So this one is a bit really out of the norm, right? Oh, okay. But I believe that you have heard enough from myself and some most of creators here on Substack and anywhere on social media. People say provide value. I have a very interesting take on providing value inside my Substack. I wrote one long post on what does it mean to provide value. So do check it out as well. But then don't focus on selling. Focus on providing value, right? Um, and truth be told, that if you focus on providing value, it is actually easier to achieve than if you focus on selling. Why? Because when you focus on selling, what you want is what you want in return is revenue increase, right? And that is not something you can control because you cannot control revenue, right? But the moment you focus on providing value, then it becomes very easy to control. It becomes very easy to achieve that goal. Because if my goal is providing value, that's simple. I just keep providing value, right? But if your goal is to sell more and earn more, then you'll be very miserable. I personally think so. Right. So really need to spend some time, switch how we want to what we want to do, and then really focus on providing value, right? So again, providing value is another aspect. Go check out what I wrote about that. I think it's a really long post. I wrote about 2,000 words on what it means to provide value. Okay. And then um and then the last learning point, right, is earning online is a responsibility, not a trophy, right? So Yana, again, if you bring back to her, to Yana's story of how she earned her first $108 as paid subscription, right? She view it as more than she view it more than a learning. She view it, oh, sorry, she view it more than earning. She view it as a promise to deliver, right? So she received the payment, and then and immediately she was thinking, okay, how do I deliver to ensure that the paid subscribers uh, get what in return, right? So get what they value in return, right? So that mindset is really, to her, she said that that mindset is what separates creators who earn once and creators who build a business, right? So I agree with her totally, because I think a lot of times when we create a product, we focus too much on things like, well, how much do I earn from this product? How do I market it? Right? Rather than, um, if you switch your mindset towards the key thing about, if I price it at $97, what does uh what does my customer get? What does my target audience get? And does this particular digital product or this service or this initiative create a transformation for my clients, right? So that's actually a very important question you should ask yourself as well. All right. So we have come to the end of the 6 key learning that I have. How that I'm 1/3 of the way through for first digital product, and I think uh, we'll continue, right, all the way until June. We'll continue with the 20 contributors. I just saw your name, Veronica. So Veronica is one of them as well. All right. So at this point of time, we have about 5 minutes. Do you have any question for me? Just type in your questions, and then I'll try my best to answer you. Right. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the live chat. I'm also thinking of so this will continue. There are more learnings towards the end of the first digital dollar project. After I done with the 20 solopreneurs, what I'll do is I'll come up with an ebook as well, right? Combining the 20 stories and 20 learnings from the 20 live. And then I also complete it with another live session, right? And then we'll close the first digital dollar project. Uh, while I'm doing this, or there are already a lot of creators DM me and asking if I will continue this project. I have yet to decide, but I'm probably will do another batch, right? So, and I find this project to be very, very meaningful, right? So I'm glad for those of you who subscribe to the Solopreneur Code. Thank you for continuing this journey. And then any questions for me at this moment? All right, it's very interesting. We have 341 viewers. This is probably the highest that I've ever. scene. Any questions for me? Can y'all hear me? Are y'all picking up this from me? All right, we have another 3 minutes. I promise it will be about 30 minutes. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Any questions for me for first digital dollar project? Any questions for me pertaining to entrepreneurship? I'll be starting. I have been trying, right, uh to plan for daily life. I'm looking forward to doing this. Right. So now is the planning stage. I'll be doing a daily life. Uh, and then each live will last about 15 to 30 minutes, not too long. And then the purpose of the live is really to um, is really open for everyone to take part in. All right. Can be a AMA ask me anything, or it can be me talking about one specific project, like for example, talking about lead magnets, talking about funnels, talking about which social media platform to go to use, stuff like that, right? So it is it will be very interesting, but it will be very intense, right? Because it is daily. There will be a lot of preparation that needs to be done, right? The content has to be at least to me, it has to be meaningful to you guys, right? So it's in the works, right? So it might not start off with fully daily. It might start off with just weekday, right? So Mondays to Fridays, and again, my Monday to Friday might not be your Monday to Friday, but we'll work it out, right? And then yeah, that's it for the daily life that I'm planning. All right. So at this moment, do you have any other questions for me regarding the first digital dollar project? Okay, if it's that, then I'll thank you for joining me, and then I hope to see you guys soon. Stay tuned for the rest of the contributors that I'm bringing in for the first digital dollar project. All right, so every week, Tuesday for the post, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the live, and next week we'll have another very interesting contributor. All right, you definitely know her, right? So that's the trick. You definitely know her if you're in Southside, right? So there's no way you miss her, right? So stay tuned for this. Subscribe to Solopreneur Code if you haven't. I will see you in the next one. All right, chill. Bye.